All right, guys. This is Raj Montage coming at you from the On Call Empath. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please like and share this episode tremendously. It helps me out. So, without further ado, all you empaths, highly sensitive people, even trauma victims, I have a good episode for you that I want to go over four things that every empath should know, especially moving on in the world that we live in today. It is messed up. Let's just face it. Everything is falling apart. There's so much going on in the world. It doesn't seem like people care. It's everywhere you go, from the restaurant to going to the doctors to there's something after COVID that I feel like it did something to either wake you up to the right direction, or it's taking you further apart, because everyone I know is either scrolling on their phones, immersed, on the screens, always like trying to get away from reality. I was driving the other day. I just saw somebody was crossing the road. I almost hit him because he was on his phone staring at it crossing the street. I mean, it just seems like we've lost touch with humanity. And without further ado, I want to go over four things that every empath should be aware of, at least living in 2022. I think this is going to be very helpful. I know I use this a lot with my coaching clients. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone's going to accept you. There's going to be people that are going to be against you. I had a problem with that, especially starting this podcast, this YouTube channel. I didn't think anyone gave a crap, but what I found out is there's more people like us, more that are coming out, a lot of introverts, a lot of trauma victims are reaching out to me, a lot of highly sensitive people thanking me, that coming out and calling this out, that it is okay to be who you are. If it's an empath, a highly sensitive person, hey, if you've been through trauma, that trauma that we're all working on, even people that have had a great childhood is facing trauma today. That's how bad in the world that we live in today. I want you to think about that for a second. People that have a great life up till now are traumatized because of, maybe of something that happened in the last couple of years with COVID, jobs, inflation. But just know this, not everyone's going to have the same heart as you. Not everyone's going to give a crap about other people as you do. Not everyone is going to feel other people's pain, because let's face it, nowadays, for somebody to sympathize, they could probably get there. To put yourself in someone's shoes is very tough. And I feel like with empaths, that's what we do best, whether you like it or not. We want to help, we want to reach our hand. All I'm saying is just keep in mind who you reach your hand out to. I know that with empaths, we want to help people, that's in our nature. But in the world we live in today, you have to be careful who you help, because it might just come out and bite you in the ass. And this I know from firsthand experience. Number two, not everyone's going to get your story. So be very careful of how much you talk about your personal self to other people. Now, when I talk about my personal self, there's a couple people that I go to that know me inside out. You do not want to go out in social media and ask and look for that validation. You're not going to get it. If you go, like, for example, even to somebody that you pay, a therapist, a doctor, a professional, they are listening to, yes, but they're also taking money from you. Um, Even when you go to pay somebody like a doctor or a therapist and you're looking at least for someone to listen to you, even then it's really tough nowadays to get somebody to actually take you seriously and understand that trauma, to really put themselves in your shoes, and it's very tough. That's why for me, I go to certain groups and that's it. Everything outside of it, I just keep my mouth shut. I don't open up. All I'm saying is don't open up to the wrong people, because it can backfire and they can use it against you. So for empaths, highly sensitive people, people that have been through trauma, be careful who you share your most vulnerable stories with, because if you're looking for someone to understand, I'm gonna have to say this and it's gonna suck, but most people don't give a shit. I'm gonna repeat that. Most people don't care about what you've been through. A lot of people are occupied with themselves. In 2022, if you look around, majority of the people are too busy online trying to get that validation. But that's why for me, I made this channel for a small group of people that do want to come to a place where they won't be judged, that validation is here. We're here to listen. That's the community that I did on Facebook and Instagram and all of that. This is what I wanted to do without any type of stress, because where else can you go these days where you could just tell your story and just have somebody shut up and listen? It's really tough. Now, if you have a support group, if you have a family member, if you have a some sort of group you go to that's working for you, keep doing that. But keep this in mind. Most people don't care. And that's really just the gist of it now. And that's the theme that we're going into 2022. Just look around us. Look at how much things are falling apart everywhere. Everyone's kind of suffering, and so you want to be careful what you share, because again, not everyone is like you. The next one is a good one, is no response is a response. So for all those people that you come across, whether it's at work, um, people that are in your family, or just friends, you do not have to respond right away. Being an introvert, highly sensitive people, we need our space. So giving a response immediately after somebody asks you for something, that I try to at least give myself some time to think. Number three is you have the right to protect your energy. Remember, no response is a response. You do not have to respond to anyone you don't want to in a timely manner. You are in charge of your energy. You get to choose who you get to delegate it to. Think of it as a battery. Every day you're giving a little to certain people, and by the end of the day, if you're depleted, you're not going to have anything else for you, whether your kids, your family, your friends, your loved ones. So be careful who you get let into your life, who you help, because that energy bar is going to go down just like a battery. So don't waste your time trying to explain yourself or over explain yourself to somebody that just made the decision they don't want to get you. There are going to be people that are going to be right. Let them be right. Okay, great. You want to be right? All power to you. You don't have to be right all the time. Ask yourself this: do you normally respond or do you react? If you always react to somebody and you want to be right, that is a form of wasted energy. When someone says something I don't agree, I stay quiet and I observe, absorb it, and I make a decision. Do I want to even have this engaged conversation with this person? Are they capable of having a critical thinking to give me answers, to have a respectable conversation? Most people can't. Most people are adamant. They're going to try to force their values down your throat, especially if they know you're an empath or a highly sensitive people. They're going to try to push their values on you, go over your boundaries. So that's why keeping your boundaries, saying no, letting people know that you have limits and draw a line in the sand. Just know that if people cross it, you got to put your foot down. That's something that I definitely work with a lot of my clients that I coach. Is no means no. Boundaries are just like our lifeline. When we have poor boundaries, everything seems to fall apart. Do not give in. If you do not want to engage in a conversation, walk away. That doesn't make you any less of a person. Finally, number four. This is a tough one. And at first, when people told me this, I was just like, What does that mean? How did?" And this is to love yourself. And coming from a trauma victim myself, majority of the trauma victims do not know how to love themselves. When you say those words to them, they're really not sure what to do. It's like when you tell a toddler, "Hey, go make yourself a sandwich." They're not going to know exactly what to do. And it's like the same with a trauma victim. If you've been through 12 years of trauma, It's not gonna just go away overnight or a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. It might take years. And, for some people, they go through their whole lives just kind of still stuck in that trauma. If you don't know how to love yourself, try starting off just by putting yourself first. Treat yourself good. Go get yourself, your favorite coffee. Go relax in the nature. When you do these small things for yourself every day, little by little, whether it's going for a walk, saying no to somebody, and putting your needs first, these things add up. And I want you to think like you have a son or a daughter. You would not want anyone to hurt them or talk down to them or slap them or manipulate them. So why would you want anyone else to do it to yourself? So I want you to think about this point where you're protecting that person. That person is you. So if you don't know how to love yourself, start by doing small little tasks, by putting yourself first, saying no, but maybe buying something for yourself, feeling good. There's nothing wrong with that. Just making sure that you're honoring yourself and you're not doing something for others because you want them to like you. And I think seems to be one of the biggest things that I see in my coaching is that we want validation. We want people to like us. And that's where we get in trouble with empaths, highly sensitive people. Many trauma victims that I do talk to also say, well, if I don't do this, I'm afraid that, this is going to happen or I'm going to have some backlash. Putting yourself first is definitely going to help you in the long run. It doesn't matter if you're an empath, a highly sensitive person, or a trauma victim. The more you let people take from you and walk all over you, it's going to affect you and you're never going to feel good about yourself fully. And maybe you're listening to this, maybe you're lost, you're depressed, you're anxious, and you have a lot of things going on, and I get it. And that's why I made this episode. It's for you. I'm talking to the person that's listening to this that there is hope. I've been there. Reach out to me, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Join my Facebook group, subscribe to this channel. I'm really excited because I'm going to be launching a lot more videos on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, check out my YouTube channel, and subscribe to it. I want to build a community where anybody could come that's been through any hardship, especially now with everything going on in 2022. I got your back. I'm here to listen. Send me an email. I will try to get back to as many people as I can. I know a lot of you guys been, uh, reaching out to me, giving me great hope, giving me great feedback about a lot of the podcast episodes, a lot of these guests. And on the flip side, also, as I have a lot of high profile guests that are coming on the show, all for you guys. I want you to look at a variety of people. I'm going to have so many different types of professions, people that are very well known, hundred thousands of followers. These people that I'm bringing in are going to give their expertise. So I just don't want you to take my word for it, but you're going to get the best out of the best to explain to you from a scientific standpoint, from a medical standpoint. So again, always keep moving forward. Thank you for coming with me on this journey and stay tuned for more videos and podcast episodes. And don't forget to like and subscribe in the bottom. Thanks again, and we are out.
You're listening to the On Call Empath.